Today on Slough School.
Welcome to Online Slough School. I'm still Claire. I still work for the ColumbiaSlough Watershed Council as a Slough School educator, and I'm really excited to be bringing this stuff online. So today I want to talk about the riparian zone. In the riparian zone, a lot of people have heard the word zone before, but they don't know what riparian means. And so a zone is an area of space, and the riparian zone is the space in the area near water and land near water. So a good way that we like to define it at Slough School is it's the land by the water. That's the riparian zone. And so a good way that I like to remember it is I take one hand and I make a tree and I wave it back and forth like this. And with my other hand I make a wave for our water. So we have our land and we have our water. So the riparian zone is the land by the water. So I talked about the riparian zone, and the riparian zone is a key definition. So let's write that down because that's a vocabulary word. So the riparian zone is the land by the water. And so in the land by the water, and just in the world in general, there's 3 different types of plants. We have them known as flowers, bushes, and trees. But in science, we use the word herbs, shrubs, and trees. So I am going to highlight those for us. Just box them really quickly, because that's how I'll be referring to them for the rest of the lesson. So, and let's draw some. See, even outside of the lesson, y'all are getting my singing. So there's a flower, and flowers are typically very small. They have flowers on them, or herbs. They have flowers on them. And there's no woody tissue, or no wood. So they're very soft and very flimsy. Shrubs, on the other hand, so this is my shrub. We're Bob Rossing it. As you can see with shrubs, there's no central trunk, which is really important. So there's a lot of stems. They have some wood. And most importantly, they're like a medium size. Or under 12 feet tall. Trees, on the other hand, are trees really, really small, or are they really big? I guess it kind of depends on the tree, too. So here's my tree. Draw little branches for your tree. But one of the things that we notice is that they're super tall. They're very woody. There's a lot of wood from trees. That's why we use them in different products like toilet paper and paper. And they have one central trunk. Everything comes out of this right here. So those are the different plant types. So I wanted to talk about this really quickly. We learned our 3 different plant types. And now I want to go through some vocabulary with plants. So you have petals. These are these individual pieces that come out of the flower. This whole area is the flower. We have our leaves that grow on either side of our stem. And then at the very, very bottom, we have roots, or roots. And so roots are super important because they hold soil, and it prevents erosion, which means the movement of soil. So by having, and we're going to talk about this in a future Slough School lesson, but by having these roots in place, you can help prevent the soil from moving, and that's super important in the riparian zone because we want our land to be clean, we want the water to be clear, and we want the river to be shaded so important species like salmon and types of amphibians and turtles can live there. So we drew our 3 plant types. And why are they important? We have our trees, we have our shrubs, and we have our herbs. And why are they important? To know the difference of them, and then that there's a lot of them. So to me, it's really important because of a word called biodiversity. We're going to talk about it more, but biodiversity is when there's lots of different animals, plants, and things all in one place. We'll talk about this more once we get into actual riparian zone. But so by having those bushes or shrubs, by having those herbs, and by having those trees, it provides different things for different animals. So like some animals, right, might really like deer, really like berries. And then other animals like birds, what do they need trees for? They need trees to nest, sometimes, depending on the bird. So it's really good to have those different types of plants in there. You have your trees and your shrubs and your herbs.